In a world of glitz and glam, flashing lights and screaming fans, most people are unaware of the war that rages behind the scenes. And that war includes your favorite artist and your favorite songs. This is The Dark Side of Songwriting. Hosted by Nayim Edwards.
Welcome to The Dark Side of Songwriting. My name is Nayim Edwards and I am your host. Thank you everybody for tuning in, rocking out, supporting the show. I really appreciate it. We are finally back on track with our substance use edification series within the show. Today I want to talk about somebody who absolutely revolutionized my childhood, DMX. I was very, very, very young when DMX really had one of the greatest runs in hip hop history. That energy, the realness, the rawness that he brought to hip hop culture. You get a DMX I don't want to say you get one every generation. You get a DMX every generation and a half. But the way that DMX did it was like nobody else had ever done it. Especially in that time, because, he made mention about how he came the way he was coming, not because that was just him, but everything was so soft. It was so love songy. He wanted to bring that grit back to music or revolutionize music in general when it came to real people and not just what he was talking about in his music, but the image and everything about it. But this isn't about what he was saying in his music. Not this episode. He's going to get multiple episodes himself. We're going to actually sit down and work on that. And we got a couple other things that we're going to be rolling out this week. But this is about how how he ended up being corrupted and he lost the battle. But we're not going to dwell on how he lost the battle. We're just going to talk about how a lot of us as artists, it is not just particularly to artists, but in this case, this is something that happens in songwriting culture. This is something that happens in music culture almost all the time. And what am I talking about? This is how, when we start out doing music or you start out writing songs and stuff, by the time you actually get to that point of actually knowing what you're doing, you've already had to deal with so much other stuff, so much other bullshit from the past, your childhood. You were probably more than likely, it's like 99% of the time when something happens to an artist, it happened to them. It didn't just happen to them. It started happening to them. I just got out the shower. My fucking nose. I don't know why I do this every time, but and the air is fucking blowing and hitting my face. But 99% of the time when you're corrupted as a child. And I feel like this is the perfect time to introduce the spiritual aspect, because this is DMX we're talking about, and he talked about it heavily. So I feel like that's my rite of passage to speak about how, as the enemy, the demons have to come in and get you before you know who you are. So if you don't know what happened with DMX, he got introduced to crack cocaine as a teenager, like a young kid. He had a mentor who was like, come smoke this weed or whatever. And he was like, whoa, after he smoked it, this feels crazy. And his mentor was like, yeah, it was laced with crack. And that sent him on a spiral that ultimately it gave the consumer, it gave the fans, it gave the world a perspective of music we haven't seen. But he didn't win the battle. He didn't win the war. He didn't win in the end because he's dead. And what killed him was trusting somebody as a child and his fate being like determined by a corrupt force. So how do we even get to these points coming into it? So as people, especially as songwriters, musicians, it doesn't matter your genre or what you do, if you make music, more than likely, and we're talking about people who really make music, not people who, oh, I woke up today and I just started rapping, and we're talking about people who really like have a gift. You came into this world gifted because of all the things you could do, of all the things you could want to do. You decided that music was going to be the thing that, music is that thing that stuck with you throughout everything. It's something that you wanted to do. We have to understand that as children, when we were children, and even if you see a child, you might not be musically gifted. Your gift might be you're the best electrician. Your gift might be you're the best plumber. Your gift might be you are the best writer this generation has ever seen. You might be gifted in something technical. You might be the best mathematician. Everybody's gift is something different. A lot of times the gifts that we always see, and you think your gift is only gifts, not your gift, but gifts are only relegated to something that has to do with entertainment or sports. That's not true. Anything that a person is good at and can master is a gift, and you can be multi-gifted. The thing is, the enemy knows this too. And the enemy, the devil, the demons, anybody who sees something in you and they know that they're not shit and they're never gonna be shit, or just pure envy, pure jealousy. And the difference between envy and jealousy is I want what you have. Envy is I want to be you. A lot of people don't understand that adults do envy children, especially when you come across a child like Earl Simmons. That's not no regular everyday type of shit. A lot of us have people in our lives who, like, this ain't no regular everyday type of shit, and you might be that person in your family where it's like, this is not no everyday shit. Like, this is we really got something here. And a lot of times, if we don't protect ourselves, and the thing with being a child is you can't protect yourself as a child. You rely on other people to protect you. A lot of us as songwriters, a lot of us as musicians, or whatever you do that's artistic or whatever you're good at, a lot of us were corrupt as children. And corruption doesn't have to be rape, molestation, even though those are really the common ones with girls and stuff. Drugs is corruption. Ignorance is corruption. And a lot of times we'll find ourselves being corrupted so young that we're just fighting to try to win the battle of staying alive every day, or we're fighting to win the battle of wanting to not take our lives, or shut the fuck up, good grief, or something like that, where you don't even have time to work on your gift. You don't have time to nurture and grow your gift up, or you've been so corrupted by whatever came into your life at such a young age that you don't even realize what your gifts are. You might think, I'm the best rapper, I'm the best singer, I play the guitar the best, but you really might be a skilled engineer like this world has never seen. But the problem is, you were brainwashed, you were corrupted, you were tampered with as a child or as a young person, but more than likely it's going to be a child, because the enemy is just going to attack you until you get so far away that you're completely displaced from whatever your gift is, that you don't even realize what the gift is by the time, and most of us lose the battle before we realize or maybe not realize. You know, you might get to the point where you realize what the gift is, but most people lose the battle before they can really get to the thing. Relegating this back to just talking about this DMX thing is like, he had a mentor, somebody as a child. You know, your home life might not have been great. It might have been too many kids in the house. You might not have had a father. You might not have had a mother. You might not have had parents in general. I feel crazy continuing. This breeze keeps hitting my nose. I got to figure this out. I'm going to have to just cut the air off when I'm filming. But we have people in our lives as kids that we do trust. Even if it's just one person. The thing with that is, it's like, you don't know no better because you were a child. You didn't know any better because you were a child. Children don't know anything. They know what they observe. They know what they experience. They know what we tell them, right? Okay, I'm not scratching my nose no more because this is crazy and I'm not redoing this. Like, this person saw something in DMX that they had to kill it before it could get to the point where this person realized that the environment they were in was not the environment that they should have been. Because my thing is, internally, instinctively, we all know when something is wrong. Internally, instinctively, we all know when we're not supposed to be doing a certain type of behavior or something. It just don't feel like this isn't divine purpose. This isn't purpose. This isn't what we're supposed to be doing. Yeah, I'm having an attack at this point because, like, what the fuck? But they killed, or they tried to kill, because it didn't work, but it worked. If you know what I'm saying. Like, they knew that, you know, he said he cried because he's like, you know, I trusted you. Like, what the fuck? I trusted you. Why would you do this to me? Because he knew how hard it was going to be to try to get away from that. The thing is, the demon was there before you were even here. That's what a generational curse is. Generational curses are just generational demons. Your family's been dealing with the demons of addiction. Your family has been dealing with the demons of, you know, poverty and all of these things, and all these things piled on top of you. Who gives a nigga? Fuck this rap shit. I got to get out here and get my fix for today. I got to get out here and get some money. We ain't ate in 2 goddamn days. I'm tired of not eating, you know. In my family, we dealt with generational poverty up until probably my 2 parents. And my parents are like the youngest on both of their sides. And it's just like, you got a choice to make. And I didn't come from nothing that was extravagant and elaborate. But we're going to talk about that when we talk about Hitmaker Young Bird and what he's revealing and what he's finally out here talking about. Because I feel like that's more towards whatever I got going on. But like with DMX and everybody that goes through these things, like, it's so crazy because you saw that. Well, he told us when he was a kid, introduced to the drug, he goes off to be DMX. And we think it's all good, but the whole time, and you can hear it in his music, he's struggling, he's battling, he's fighting. And ultimately, you know, you have these periods where you do pretty okay. You have these periods where you get yourself together. But in the end, he lost the battle, because imagine how much greater he could have been if he would have never been introduced to substances. He never was introduced to drugs. He never trusted somebody who they were put on this planet to completely destroy a prophet, a prophetic person. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of us don't realize our gifts make us. Your gifts, you are creative because you are from the creator. And the creator wants you to create. This is what makes you prophetic. This is, you know, what you do. It might not be, you might never get mainstream or nothing, but you can have such an impact on certain people's lives that might really have been your mission you might be able to be the person who saved a generation. My girlfriend was telling me about some shit with one of these gospel singers, talking about some new gospel singer. The last name of the girl is Hawthorne or some shit. And she was on TikTok, and one of the old gospel singers was like, if you're not a Christian, you shouldn't be doing XYZ. But my thing is, that's not how you gonna reach folks. If a person, a lot of the times, the packages that you least expect are the ones that you need the most. People will listen to her, but it's just like, okay, it's my old ass aunt or whatever. But the dope boy on the corner could really say something to change your life. DMX, as an addict, could really say something to change your life. He could really have said, people will listen to DMX before they listen to a gospel singer. And I would argue that what he did was a form of gospel music, just because of how impactful it was and how many people it was able to touch. I didn't see nobody say nothing crazy when he died. Nobody said nothing bad when DMX died. And although DMX might not have been the package that you feel like God could use, or whoever you believe in could use, or just in general, if we talking down here, this might not have been the person you thought could change a generation or change people's lives, but this is the motherfucker that people would listen to above somebody coming out and just preaching to them. This motherfucker has a real story, a real example of somebody fucked me over before I even got a chance to realize who the fuck I was, you know? And I'm struggling with it, but I'm real by telling you, don't even fucking fuck that. Don't do it. Don't even if you could catch them as kids, don't even smoke. Don't even go down that path. You know, people will listen to DMX because of his impact. And you can't go from different world, because in his world, in DMX's world, he'll have more people that will pay attention to him opposed to somebody who looks clean and squeaky and cookie cutter and all that. And it's fucked up that it's that way, but that's real. That's just how this shit goes. Motherfuckers is not listening to people wagging their finger. That young girl who was the gospel singer or whatever, that really might be, because my thing is, this is how I go. If she's doing whatever she's doing on TikTok as the young gospel singer, it's going to be young people on TikTok that look at her and they might not know that she's even a gospel singer. They might not know she has any connection to the gospel world, but they'll go see everything else that she's doing, and that might be what brings them in. She had to step into the secular realm to win a soul. I'm off topic, but I'm just saying, like, we get corrupted before we get a chance to realize who we are. And I thought this was important to start a DMX story off with, because there's a lot of lessons we can learn, and just a lot of, especially like if we just went song for song, bar for bar, we might actually have to do that. And that's really the beginning of the dark side of how your music is gonna come out. It's not, motherfuckers don't wake up, I've been rapping for 2 years. That person, that's not, songwriters been writing for a long time. You didn't just start writing unless you decided that you were gonna relegate whatever you were doing into songwriting. And that's the same with anything. You know, niggas didn't just start fixing cars. They were intrigued at one point to do this. You know what I'm saying? But we can go ahead and wrap it up here. My name is Nayim Edwards. Thank you for rocking out if you even made it this far. This is the Dark Side of Songwriting, and I will holler at you.